Hello, I'm Jeff Miller, the pastor at the Belton First United Methodist Church, and here it is, Tuesday of Holy Week. And I have to admit, I could have never imagined in my life that Holy Week would be what we're experiencing, where we can't gather together in worship and join together around the table for communion on Maundy, Thursday, and nail our sins to the cross on Friday, and then come enjoy and fill the beautiful sanctuary and other houses of worship with joy as we celebrate the resurrected Christ on Easter. You know, our plans have been interrupted. And I don't know about you, but I find myself that I have sometimes a little difficulty adjusting when things don't go as planned. I don't know, maybe that's you. My wife teases me. I tend to be a planner. And the staff knows here at the church, I tend to be a planner. You know, here we are, Holy Week 2020, and I think we should already be planning for Advent of 2021. So, my wife teases me because sometimes when we're on vacation, I am planning our next vacation. Now, how do you react when things don't go as planned? Here we are, and I think for all of us, this is just what we're doing and what we're experiencing is not what we've planned. There is a particular verse in the Bible, though, that helps me keep my perspective when things aren't going as planned. And it's from Paul's letter to the church at Philippi. As we work our way through the book of Philippians in these devotions on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon, Paul says, "Brothers and sisters in Christ, I want you to know that the things that have happened to me have actually advanced the gospel." Now, when I think of all the things that happened to Paul and how it didn't go according to plan, I am amazed by how little he really says about it. He just says, I want you to know that the things that have happened to me have actually helped to advance the gospel. I mean, there was things that happened to Paul 25 years ago from his writing to this. You know, Paul had engaged in missionary journeys, and it was on his third journey that he comes and stops off at Jerusalem. Now, Paul has been one of the proclaimers of the good news of Jesus and the grace of Jesus into the non-Jewish world, spreading the gospel. And he comes back to Jerusalem and he finds out that the Jerusalem believers, they're still suspicious of Paul and going, you know, some people aren't so certain about you. You're spending a lot of time in the non-Jewish world. And so they give him advice. They go, you know, why don't you take a couple of the Jewish believers, go to the temple for the rite of purification and pay their vows, pays the dues for them for the rite of purification. Paul goes into the temple, and his reputation for being with the Gentiles, people in the temple think that Paul has brought non-Jewish people into the Jewish temple. A riot erupts. And Paul is pulled out by a Roman soldier just before he's probably killed. And so Paul is put under arrest. And this is how Paul is arrested. And he makes his appeal to Caesar as a Roman citizen, and this is how Paul makes his journey by sea, and he spends the rest of his life trying to get justice, but he finds there is no justice for him. And he spends the rest of his life under arrest and in prison and under house arrest. Now, he's freed at one point, but then he's arrested again. And after all this time of seeking justice, of being wrongfully accused, in his letter to the Philippians, notice just a little he says about all those details. He goes, I just want you to know that everything that's happened to me, and he leaves it there. And he says that has actually helped to advance the gospel. Now that helps me to keep my perspective in the midst of everything going on and all the things that are happening to you, to me, to us, to the world. And it's not that Paul says that this has been caused by God. Paul doesn't say that. But he does say can be used to advance the cause of God. You know, the things that happen to us, and there are many, aren't they? The things that have happened to us and are happening to us. I don't believe that everything that happens to us is caused by God. Now, that may be your theology, and I'm not going to debate that because that may bring you comfort, and that's fine. It's just not where I am. I don't think that everything that happens to us is caused by God. But I am becoming convinced each and every day more and more that the things that happen to us can be used to advance the cause of God. And so I just have a simple question for you today. How is God using you in this time to advance the cause of God? How is God using you in this time to advance the cause of God? I hope that 25 years from now, my hope is we look back on this 25 years later, that we're going to be able to say, like Paul, when we're telling our grandkids, great-grandkids, and others about this, friends, and say, I want you to know that all that happened back then, that God actually used me in that time to advance the cause of God. God bless you.